I am so late, and that means the reaction will be even later, but hey, it is what it is. How Subaru turned into an aura monster. Shoutouts to Mr. AniNews. Let's check out the cut content of the last episode, not yesterday's episode, last week.
It's one thing not to trust other people, but the misanthropy is terminal once you stop being able to trust even yourself.
Misanthropy.
These were Subaru's thoughts as he contemplated what to do next. His world crumbling under the intense pressure of a mystery murder plot, forgotten memories, and the constant loops ending in death. His last loop was one of the most but even with the anime portraying it as well as it did, there were a lot of interesting details left out that you're gonna want to know about.
Let's learn.
Like, here you might think Subaru got stopped at the 4th gate just like how he did before.
But it was the 4th gate that he already overcame. Remember, transcript error.
But in actuality, this was the 5th. We also gotta talk about Subaru's transformation into the Aura monster, so if you want to see how that all went down in the novel, here's everything that didn't make it into this episode.
But first,
it's always fun diving into a brand new world of fantasy like the ones I talk about.
Alright, new ad.
Allow me to introduce you to another one.
What game is
Today's
this?
sponsor, Duet Night Abyss.
Okay.
This is a free-to-play anime-style action RPG with no gacha or stamina limiting your progress.
Yeah, I'm done. You want me to play a video game without spending money and gambling? Like, what? The fuck? You want guarantees? If it's a guarantee, it doesn't matter. Everyone has it. And if everyone has it, nobody will have it. I want to feel special. And type free to play, by the way, to the whales in the group chat and make them mad when they spent like $2,000 trying to guess something and they didn't, but I got it with the one single pull. What the fuck is the playing of gacha games if not for that sensation?
With dual narratives, fluid combat, and cosmetics-only monetization, it honestly stands out as one of the most recommended free-to-play action RPGs. And now is the perfect time to jump in because...
Anyone actually playing this? What is the current landscape of gacha games right now? Because I think Genshin is pretty much just like... I don't even hear about it anymore. I don't even hear about Honkai Star Rail anymore. I hear about Wuthering Waves here in bit. I hear about NTE and... just a bit. I don't know. What's going on with gacha right now?
The new version 1.4 Silver Torrent.
Hey, wait a minute. That's oh, dude, it's been such a long time. The Chuni Electric 4-star. Oh my god, it's been such a long time since I played Genshin.
Rising Star is basically DNA's true half anniversary update. It
Yeah,
brings
official.
tons of rewards, major upgrades to the interface, new player onboarding, and even
Waifus look
improved
nice.
environmental visuals. The story also...
You show me this scene, I could not tell you if it was Wuthering Waves, if it was Genshin Impact, if it was any other 3D MMORPG, just like open world, like this map right here, straight up. Like, could you tell me? Like, come on, look at this shit, leaving the grass, like the whole assets.
Mental visuals. The story also returns to Ice Lake, once again embracing a darker tone of storytelling, complete with new missions, new allies, and finally a brand new steampunk station map to explore. The protagonist also awakens to his new Umbro elemental form.
Oh.
2 new characters have
No
also
way.
been rotated in, while another 2
Yeah, this is official, and this is the HSR girl. Fuck, the red hair girl. I forgot her name. I forgot all their names.
also been rotated in, while another 2 are now permanently farmable through the shop. The endgame now has a huge layer of
Himeko.
crafting too, since with Calamity Weapons getting a talent tree style upgrade system,
How can you read this? What language is this, bro?
and the Abyss Expedition, a new way to farm, this new weapon system goes far beyond traditional stat upgrades.
Okay.
Multiplayer has also been revamped with a new persistent multi-wave dungeon co-op mode, plus a guild system complete with guild missions, channels, and even a guild shop. Best of all, just by logging in, you can get up to 60 free weave
No way.
plus a free character selector and weapon
Free
selector.
weave pulls!
And by participating in all the events, there's even more rewards like the exclusive Black Gospel character skin,
Oh
another
my
selectable
God.
character, and more. So whether you're here for the rewards or all the other amazing features Duet Night Abyss offers,
Yeah.
now is the best time to download it or log back in using my link down in the description.
Hey, you want to help him out? You got to help him out right here, baby. Download DMA now, baby. Right over here. I think it's this link. Always. As a lazy reactor, the list I can do is make you go to the link and, I don't know, help out Mr. AniNews with the hustle.
But anyway, episode 75, Empty Shell, covering chapters 3 and 4 from volume 23 of the light novel. Here we are, Subaru all broken and battered, The group filled with all sorts of emotions after finding out Subaru was this hollow version of who he used to be.
That's the
Whether
best
it
version.
was grief, disbelief, disgust, or something else, Subaru couldn't
Disgust, and it goes to Ram. She is disgusted. It feels so... I mean, she's always been a bitch. It's just right now, it's a bit too much.
receive them, as to him, these people were nothing but strangers. All their concern and all their familiarity, that was directed towards the real Subaru,
Poor Biko.
not whoever he was now. That was what Subaru felt was the worst, since not remembering anything about these people he could deal with, but to be on the receiving end of what could only be described as uncomfortable love, that was the one thing Subaru couldn't handle.
Uncomfortable love. Kinda similar to like how our parents loved us so much that it made him feel more guilty. Like they're like there for him, but we feel so useless. And then that builds up and creates the perfect loop where he wants to try something by himself. And then it creates more opportunities to get fucked up. And then loop and loop and loop.
He felt it unfair that the problems of Subaru were now his. That would be the feeling which would spur Subaru to run away.
There was also a lot of good moments where he was like, yo, Natsuki Subaru, how did you pull this girl? There's actually some good moments where he's like, damn, like I'm kind of him, I guess, huh? Like, how did I surround myself with these wonderful people and they believe in me like that, but right now I feel so fucking useless. What could have happened? So like him glazing himself, that's kind of cool.
A decision Patrash would try and prevent him from making. Though he couldn't understand why, Patrash was trying her best to get Subaru to stop.
Best girl.
To Subaru, this was her just being annoying though. There was a clear loneliness in her eyes he wanted no part of. It was after that he would gather some food and water for himself, contemplating which of the 7 suspects was the one that killed him. Since he didn't know if any were even his comrades before he lost his memory, Subaru felt it was possible that all were assassins trying to kill him.
We should kill them all. I hope that Baby Stan starts writing names on his arm to pick off next, you know? Like Natsuki Subaru is here. Next time it's like, kill the red hair girl. kill the lollies.
All he needed to do was convince himself Beatrice and Amelia's eyes were a lie, then that was a story he could force himself to believe. In the meantime, Subaru would fill himself with thoughts justifying his actions, doing whatever he could to make this choice of his easier to swallow. Ultimately, what it all came down to was the simple fact he didn't want to die. So, his plan was to leave and get to whatever human settlement he could find. He was fully aware crossing a desert was dangerous, but at the same time, doing something to try and live was better than hanging around somewhere he was guaranteed to die.
He got no clue what's in the desert, right? But in the tower, it's just like, fuck, so might as well try.
So, one last feeling of guilt had pressured him to remain, but his lingering attachment to his old world pressured him more.
Just squished in mom and dad's face every time. Season 2, let's go.
As he was now, Subaru was confident he didn't want to be here. He needed to return home because his
this is a bit better. Dad's face isn't squished vertically.
father and mother were waiting for him. Well, Subaru wouldn't get very far, as after his second step, he would be ambushed by a sandworm. Unlike how in the anime Subaru was tossed around by it though, in the novel Subaru would have far more of a face-off. For a second, you could actually call his actions fairly strategic, as Subaru would immediately come up with a plan and implement it.
To fight the
In
war?
order to live, Subaru knew he needed to get back inside, so that simply meant dodging the worm and making a run for it. Dodge he did, and with a movement that channeled the memories of his experience from the year he didn't remember, Subaru would avoid the sandworm easily.
Harder than fighting against Elsa in Season 1? I could argue easier. Because bro was already moving like that in Season 1. And now he has a physicality buff that he's been training. So honestly, I think this is easier than Elsa because of that. That's kind of crazy.
I couldn't tell you how much he actually saw of his past, but the novel does make it seem like those memories are still in there. Now all Subaru needed to do was run, but with 60 feet separating him and the entrance, the sandworm's tail would catch him like how we saw in the anime. The rest would be the same too, up until Subaru dropped into what he at first thought was hell. This was after all a world of fantasy, so it wouldn't be strange if a literal hell plane existed. Eventually, the overwhelming darkness would fill Subaru's mind with fear, leading him to run as that was the only thing he could do. You see, where in the anime Subaru had a lantern, in the novel he had nothing. He was forced to traverse the underground with no vision whatsoever. It was after several hours he had finally made his way to the gates, his will nearly broken multiple times before that. I mean, he was after all walking in absolute darkness, so after slipping down sand hills, running into walls, and getting sand dumped on him by tremors, Subaru was almost starting to believe that this was hell.
He crashing out.
The only reason he decided to keep running regardless is because he was too frightened by the thought of what would happen if he stopped. He was so desperate to get away up until he came across this stench. A putrid smell that acted as a thread for Subaru to grasp onto.
Not Satala smell, right?
With this thread leading him to one gate after another, Subaru would find the more gates he opened, the stronger the smell got.
Wait a minute, it is her. No one... She's just stinky as fuck. The stench of the witch. She has no showering.
It was that smell which would guide him where to go, since still Subaru couldn't see anything.
Stinky.
The breeze he felt and the stench he followed were the only guiding factors Subaru could use to navigate here.
The witch of stench.
Finally, Subaru would make it to a gate that wouldn't open, but unlike how last time he got stuck on the fourth, this right here was the fifth.
What?
It's an interesting detail I'm surprised they decided not to share in the anime.
What's going on?
I couldn't tell you what exactly changed.
It's not even... Well... Do you think the anime's right? Rather than it being a mistake? What if it was intentional? What if Tappei stepped in? Don't you think he would have made a tweet about it? Tappei is always tweeting after every week when the episode airs and he gives clarifications and extra context. Did he say anything about the doors? Because if this is important, there's no shot he wouldn't have explained it. 100% he would have explained it. He explains such just random trivial bullshit for fun. This is so important.
Which allowed Subaru to progress one gate further, but what I can't tell you is his traversal deeper just meant the miasma was going to affect him more. So, as a fierce rage overwhelmed him in this unfair situation, Subaru was ready to bludgeon the god who put him here.
Oh.
Some inexplicable feeling made him know
bludgeon the god. Bro's gonna be a god slayer soon.
These gates were made just for him, so that just...
Wait, what the fuck is that? This is my hole it was made for. What is the context of this? Anyone know what manga this is? I thought it was Okada from Down to Down for a second, but no, it's not.
So that just made him more mad when it wouldn't open for
Junji Ito?
He was frustrated and confused over the fact what lay beyond the gate was the truth of his role in this world. His inner thoughts would question the blockade over and over again, finally culminating with this.
Why is this?
It's the first time we've ever seen a word censored like this,
what?
So perhaps this version of Subaru is remembering something related to his true purpose.
What? First time he said that this is a door, and Anastasia and Ram were like, what the fuck? This is like a wall, why would you say a door? That was like the first pass. Now he's like, what? He's referring it to something else?
Whatever the truth may be, it's immediately after that Subaru would be teleported.
He said some magic words and then it went white? Was that an activating condition? Because like, that would add more context to whatever reaction happened here. This is odd.
Teleported. As much as how it happened didn't make sense, Subaru's reality was demanding he accept it.
Okay.
It was as if it was getting payback for him trying to run away. That's when Subaru would see the situation as hopeless, finally accepting that if he didn't want to die, he simply needed to kill
myself.
First.
Yeah.
That was, after all, the reason he was running away, so if he could just find and...
It's kind of funny that could he kill though? Maybe he's been killing everybody, like the bears and even Meiri, right? If we go off of the distorted visions that we see before the TV channel switches. I don't know. But like, I don't know, there's something, who could he really, because remember how he was like, yo, Beiku and Meiri's not around, I bet I could get them, because they were like tiny compared to him. I don't think he could really do a good job in killing.
Kill them before they kill him. Everything, at least to him, would then be solved. He did have the advantage of knowing someone was coming for him too, so if he could just leverage that information, Subaru felt he could do it.
And next time, we wait here and we do a judo flip. We're anticipating, okay? Someone's coming, and in the moment that we hear something, boom, fucking flip that bitch down the well, bro. Gotcha. Imagine it's someone trying to help this time, though. Like Amelia or like Biyako. and they were trying to help. Like, Will, you're getting close to the edge, and then he throws them out of panic and he kills. That'd be crazy, right? That'd be a crazy loop.
So, with an ominous curse constantly being repeated, Subaru's thirst for vengeance would turn him into some kind of aura monster.
You know what? Yeah, it's better to play the opening scene. It is. It just looks better. This is what the fans imagined.
He truly felt his body get stronger every time he said it. This was a Subaru completely filled with toxic miasma, ready to kill all in the name of protecting himself. That in turn led
Nah, fake demons, bro. He got up and he saw Shala mauled and he was like
to the decision of killing the first person he saw, a choice he fortunately wouldn't have to follow through with. Unfortunately for him though, what he experienced instead was his first exposure to death. You see, never in his life had Subaru ever seen a dead body before, not even at a funeral. So, with Shala's gored body
Quite the
being
shock.
the first corpse he'd ever seen, the shock was so staggering the impact burned itself right into Subaru's soul.
fake demons.
It had made him puke all over the dead body right in front of him.
You puked on the body? Like, that's crazy. Like, onto Shala's corpse. Nah, that's intentional.
Still, Subaru was a man with a mission.
That's
so
ridiculous.
With absolute solitude being what he was striving for, Subaru would contemplate how he was gonna kill the other 6 suspects. He had even thought about how he was gonna get rid of Raid after them.
If he comes up with a plan and it works out, I'd be impressed. Cause like, who the fuck believes that he can do this right now? Are you serious?
So, as Subaru honed the power his repeated curse.
But like, what if this actually somehow awakens the authority of greed? Some people are even talking about what if it's already activated and we don't even know, right? All these scenes where we seem to lose our memories and shit happens, it's him with the authority of greed. I still feel like has to do with Rui and memory manipulations and baby stand mechanics that we've seen in JoJo's where he forgets the moment that like he wakes up. But imagine in his attempt to just like become corrupt and embrace the miasma and kill that like he starts like actually activating some archbishop powers.
Granted him, Subaru was even more prepared to kill than before. When 4 more bodies were found instead though, finally he started wondering what worth did all this resolve have.
Udius.
Now, an interesting thing to note about Meili's corpse is that her death was the cleanest out of anyone's.
Clean.
Julius had clearly attempted to shield her, but even after that, she was only slashed once.
A lolly enthusiast because Rui is a fellow lolly? Huh. Why? Why leave? Well, maybe it was because of how well Julius is protecting her? This feels kind of interesting.
It was a stark contrast when compared to the brutal states everyone else was left in.
I could only imagine it's because that you want to use the body for something. As in, but like we know that a shapeshift. Well, do we know how they shapeshift? I just assume if you eat somebody, you can turn into them, right? Like you basically, if Rui were to shapeshift into Meidi or Rem, I'm saying that like both bodies would exist at the same time. But I don't really know how that works. And if we go with the theory that this is not the case and only one can exist at the same time and it has to be the corpse or whatever, the remaining body, then it'd be kind of interesting how limiting the damage would, obviously, you don't want like to show that like you're all fucked up if you're trying to deceive people, right?
What's even more interesting is that where everyone's faces were putting on one type of pained expression or the other, Meili's face was almost tranquil.
Huh. Huh. Okay. Why? Why is she happy about this? Why she's smirking? This is weird.
Their bodies were also covered with white cloths too.
Because this is all part of her plan. But she died according to the plan. What? That doesn't make any sense.
So whoever was here before Subaru put in the effort to mourn them. That, however, just added to the confusion, so now Subaru would try to investigate a bit. With the blood having dried, Subaru guessed their deaths could have occurred at least a dozen hours ago. He wasn't sure how long he'd spent underneath the tower, but clearly it was longer than he thought. Subaru would then move on to the green room, hoping to find Amelia and Beatrice's corpses next. If he did, then his mind could finally be put at ease as the killer would no longer be around him. There he would only find Patrash though, bringing us to one of the most tough to watch scenes in a while. For Subaru, he had initially found wounding a living creature exhilarating, but after seeing no reaction, that thrill turned into frustration.
Damn, that's sad. Like, actually, he's just trying to be. This is actually such a fake demon, bro.
Now Subaru could only yell and scream as every confusing emotion he felt came bubbling up to the surface. It was after that's when Subaru would be attacked, the novel making it seem like it was Satella doing so. Because the fog resembled
the anime,
veil
though.
of shades Subaru had seen earlier, he could only assume this was the same person attacking him now. And with the way the fog seemed so hellbent on getting to him, Subaru instinctively knew getting consumed by it would lead to a fate far more terrifying than death.
Yeah, it might be a similar situation where, remember when we had the handkerchief from Petra that was also tweaked by Echidna, and we came out and got consumed by Satella, and he was gonna just stay in that shadowy realm forever. Like, probably something similar would happen. And to Satella, is that the best thing that could ever happen? Probably, because she gets to enjoy him forever in this limbo darkness, and they get to have their little peace of mind, or at least she gets to, while he just forever just rots away, and he stops thinking like cars in space.
If the torture his heart felt was anything to go off of, to Subaru this fog was probably on a whole nother level. For a moment, Subaru actually considered throwing away his life instead, but
That's
with
scary.
the certainty of return by death not being 100%, Subaru couldn't commit himself to do it.
That's just like that's just like in the beginning when we jumped off the cliff, and he was like scared to like jump off the cliff in Arc 2. He's like, how many times can I actually do this? Thank you for the 5 months I've saw it. Thank you.
Plus, he didn't really want to die to begin with. He didn't think he'd done anything wrong, so why was it then that he had to die? Well, these were the
So he's not abusing the power just yet? Like, I was wondering, will there ever be a time where he says, fuck it, run it down mid every time? You know? He's still not there quite yet.
thoughts Subaru wept over as Patrash ran for their lives, this dragon the only one answering his plea to be saved. So, where before Patrash's eyes only showed him a deep loneliness, now they shone with powerful resolve. It was clear all she wanted to do was save
Protect
Subaru.
him. How does she know the secret entrance?
And with the fog damaging anything it touched, Patrash had even gone the extra mile to ensure Subaru didn't get touched by any of it.
Damn.
She would actively sacrifice her own body in order to make sure the shadow didn't reach Subaru.
Now, I knew she was a real one the moment, like, when did I realize she was a real one? Probably season 1 finale. That was one of like the beginning moments. I'm sure there were other moments before it too, but that season 1 finale when she made sure to wrap his body with the explosion underneath the tree, that was like, okay, that was kind of crazy. There were some other scenes before it too, though.
That's why Subaru had come out relatively unscathed. Now at the balcony he previously met Aridina at.
Dun dun dun.
If there was one thing that didn't seem like it belonged, it would be the single white bird that just landed on the railing in front of him.
The single white.
Then came the realization he was gonna die, followed by the feeling someone was behind him. The novel doesn't say who, but their line of "try to catch me next time" does make it seem like they're aware of return by death.
So hype.
With that bringing an end.
The novel never mentioned it was Rem though, huh? Thank you, Gilgamesh, for the prime. That's interesting. They never mentioned it. They try to keep it a secret, but I guess in the anime, if they show Rem's figure, it's gonna create even more chaos and confuse the casuals, and it's more fun that way.
To loop number 3. Loop number.
Also, Rem is back on the payroll with the single voice line. I wonder how she gets paid. I genuinely wonder how the contract was set up. Like, did Rem get paid through season 3? There's no reason to, right? But imagine she secured a deal where it's just like no matter how many lines she has, she gets paid like the same amount.
Number 4 would begin with Subaru showing gratitude to the one being who hadn't hurt him. There was a bit more back and forth with Beatrice expressing her jealousy, but with that not being entirely important, what was the plan Subaru devised to try a route that he hadn't tried yet? This time he would test the others, observing how they interacted with him if they assumed he was still the same.
Yeah,
it
cold
would
calling.
definitely be tough considering how he didn't know the intricacies of everyone's relationship with him, but so long as he was just himself, Subaru believed he could get by.
He was doing a really good job. It was actually weird. Like, the conversation with Yuli was unreal. Bro had like, I don't even know, how did he do it? Next time we should try apologizing first, because that was a pretty big one, right? He was like, oh, I don't know what I would have done if you apologized first. I was like, okay, next time in the visual novel route, I'll choose the other option.
Amelia's closeness with him was a recurring point of confusion since in addition to knowing Subaru better than most, Amelia also said nothing about the fact Subaru almost strangled her. In the novel,
Yeah, that was odd. I thought that she was so innocent that she didn't even recognize it.
Subaru didn't stop as he fully had his hands on her neck before Beatrice finally said something.
Okay.
Still, Amelia didn't even blink as to her, such an action meant nothing.
It's like Patrash getting stabbed of like, huh? Why would you do this?
So, because of this, Subaru could only assume Amelia was privileged, sheltered, or both, or perhaps she was just really good at hiding her ulterior motives.
Both? With an inclination to Subaru? I wish that he would get punished for this. Imagine, we're low-key getting away with a lot of stuff because how much faith hasn't built in. I don't think he deserves it, but imagine, like, people were extra suspicious and, like, they thought Subaru is the one. Subaru is, but the one killing? I mean, that kind of shit, you can't really blame him. He's the one kind of witnessing it.
Either way, her lack of boundaries was extremely peculiar to Subaru. Next, Subaru would have his one-on-one with Julius, all because he assumed whatever happened between them last night was the root cause of how his memories were lost. Subaru just assumed Julius was in the archive when it happened, so this was him trying to find out more.
Okay.
He would make vague statements aligning his story with Julius's, not knowing he was hurting Julius far more than he could even imagine. For Julius, who was still coming to terms with everything, this was Subaru attempting to resolve his own problems before even considering Julius's. It's the reason he would call Subaru selfish. The rest of the conversation would go as we saw, basically confirming for Subaru Julius had nothing to do with his memories.
Anime made the conversation way better in the LARPing conversation, and the cut content sounds like it was not as good.
The grief in his eyes were genuine enough to show Julius was dealing with his own problems. At the very least, now Subaru knew of some secret with the retina, some shady dealings new Subaru could only be suspicious of old Subaru for. Again, that one question just kept coming up. The question of what was Subaru Natsuki thinking?
What was he thinking? He was thinking of a solution to beat Raid. And then it happened.
So, with Subaru no closer to finding out how he lost his memories, he would be contemplating his next move when Meili showed up. She would have a request,
this place
one
is crazy,
pertaining to their discussion from back in the library. If you remember from episode 4, there were two things that the two had talked about here.
Parents, right? Do you have any regrets?
The first was Subaru offering to look for her parents' books should she want to see them, and the second was how those books appeared when someone died. Meili could honestly be referring to either, so either she wants Subaru to help in looking for her parents' books, or she's offering to kill someone in order to see how those books originate.
I think that Meili is actually doing the ultimate sacrifice here, is she not? The more I think about what's going on, this is a whole misdirection with Meili being so suspicious. And even the smirk of the tranquil look when she died. Other than the cut, that the single cut's kind of weird, but like imagine this is her being like, yep, I'll sacrifice myself for the team. Fuck it, I don't care. My job is done. You can see exactly how I would show up as a book in the library. AniNews is kind of talking about her attitude here makes me think that now.
Unfortunately, we don't get to know though, as in these few frames here, Meili would be killed. That's probably a good point to end.
So, what I was confused about was, this event happened linearly, chronologically, with her whispering in our ear? Because like the way that the anime showed, it felt like these are two different time events. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? But it was straight up just linear. She whispered. He started getting visions of glitches. And again, just like the bears, right? When we fell down from the sand, we saw glitches of bears and shit, and they were all dead. When you think about like the TV screen change, don't you think it's like a very intentional design, visual cue that they do with Shadow Garden? I don't know. But what's the purpose of that? You know? Like, what is the purpose of that scene? It's hinting something. Honestly, I was thinking about just like literally, okay, TV, channels. You click remote button to change different channels and different shows up. What the fuck does this mean anything? Basically, Rui is switching through Subaru's channels by altering his memories and showing him events that seem to just fucking happen without us even realizing, because we like lost consciousness and she took over or she showed us something, and that's like the cue of the visuals. It's like, I don't know.
Since this is probably the starting point for a whole nother loop of suffering. So, I hope you enjoyed learning more about this episode, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
Absolutely. Please check out Mr. AniNews and go support his sponsors and other stuff on his channel. Yeah, the biggest secrets right now is kind of with Mady. She's being very sus, but maybe I'm thinking that she's sus, and it's making me think that she's an evil one scheming, but I never thought she was like an evil one scheming. I thought that she was the model that Rui was turning into and then doing fucked up shit. Anyways, now that these events literally just happened right after, what's really going on? Did Subaru do all that? Did he kill her? We'll find out next time. See you later.